The following program is rated GE. It is suitable for general family viewing.
How much do you know about the Republic of Romania? Well, it is the 12th biggest country in Europe. It is also the 6th most populous nation under the European Union.
Romania, a land where history has never stood still, shaped by empires, defined by resilience, and reborn through revolution. Today, a proud member of NATO and the European Union, committed to democracy and global partnership. From Nairobi to Bucharest is approximately 5,000 kilometers. But Kenya and Romania are growing closer every day. Today we sit down with Her Excellency Ambassador Gentiana Serbu to explore that partnership and the future both nations are building together.
So you want to learn more about Romania? Come with me. All right, so today we get to sit down or to have a sit down with the Romanian ambassador to Kenya, Her Excellency Gentiana Serbu. Madam Ambassador, thank you so much for agreeing to this interview. To kickstart this, kindly take us through your journey as a diplomat. Where have you been before you came to Kenya? Is this your first posting? And how has the journey been like?
Thank you, first of all, to come to the embassy and welcome to our house, the Romanian house. You are always welcome here.
Thank you very much.
So, I have started my career in international relations before being a diplomat. I worked in the National Water Company of Romania in international relations. I contributed to the foundation of an international organization for basin structures and authorities, which means that authorities organized by catchment area. So it's a modern concept. We have been pioneers in Europe with a law in 1954. So it was a huge experience that we were able to share with other countries and continents. So this was my first let's say, contact with the world.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I used to work in different countries together with our partners. But it gives me the appetite to know more and to be more involved in the good path of the world. So basically I'm an environmental engineer. So, but I speak foreign languages. For this reason, I was able to work in an international environment. Yeah. So after let's say the main jobs, I was director of international relations in the customs administration, Romanian customs administration, part of a huge reform program, and I have contributed to this. Meanwhile, I was also responsible for communication. So you can imagine reforming customs brings a lot of tensions that you have to handle and to communicate. So I was also responsible for communication, internal and external communication, which was it was a challenge, because when you change a system, when you go to the roots, you have opposition, you have different interests that you have to handle, especially in a law enforcement agency, which is not only law enforcement, it's also taxation. So you have to handle a lot of challenges. And we had to face scandals, we had to work with media, to be very transparent, to work with other authorities involved in the process. It was a very interesting time.
All right. So, as ambassador, this is your first posting as ambassador out of...
No.
Where else?
I didn't finish.
Oh, okay.
So after I was, meanwhile, with this reform process, we have set up a center for combating transborder crime in Southeast Europe. So I was the, let's say, the engine, without modesty, but it seems with no modesty, but this was the reality, to establish this center in Bucharest. There were 13 countries participating, and they sent to Bucharest from 1st of November 2000 liaison officer for police and one from customs. So it was, for everybody, was a challenge time. Most of the countries were in a process of accession to European Union, to NATO, so we needed to reach the standards. We needed to fight against organized crime if we wanted to develop our country, our countries. So it was a common sense of responsibility and of goodwill to do it. And we did it. And we succeeded to access the European Union and NATO first and after the European Union. So it was an entire process, and I was so happy to be part of it. And I still strongly believe that without combating organized crime and corruption, a country cannot go forward, cannot develop properly, and cannot ensure the democratic system to function. In 2004, I joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So it was a completely different life. I went to Brussels. I worked I was part of the team who contributed to the accession of Romania to the European Union. And I worked in the representation to EU for 5 years. And after I was appointed as a Consul General in the Republic of Moldova, which is extremely important for us from historical point of view, from all points of view. And after I was ambassador in Cuba and in the Caribbean countries. This was, in between, I was also working in analysis and prognosis department, and it was a good experience. And after, in between Cuba and Kenya, I was director of Latin America and Caribbean. So my minister pulled me out from my comfort zone and said, "Do you want Kenya?" I said, "Yes," immediately. I answered on the spot.
You sound like you were excited to come to Kenya.
Yes.
What was the reason for that?
Well, it's first of all, Kenya was a post that I was thinking about when I was in Cuba to come, but it was busy at that time, so I couldn't come here. But for me, first of all, it's bilateral and multilateral. So, and Kenya was a country that I really liked from any time. I was reading some news and I was following. I don't know why. Probably it's faith.
Had you ever had any experience with Kenya before?
No, not at all in Africa, which was a big challenge, a huge one. Especially that I was sent here 1 month before the visit of my president. Former president, but at that time the president. So 1 month to do everything, and moreover, he wanted also to go to Tanzania.
Which year are we talking about? When did you come to Kenya now?
2023.
2003.
In October, and my president came in November.
Let's talk a bit about Romania's history. It's one of those countries that is rich in history. You talked about folklore, talked about arts, architecture, and this comes from your experiences back at home. Tell us more about Romania, because we know you're among those countries that enjoy a very checkered history because of the kind of influences you've had from probably the Roman Empire, Ottoman Empire, and such like.
Well, I will say more than influence from Roman Empire. In fact, it was colonized Dacia, which was the country, and Dacians, the ancestors, the habitants at that time, which were in a huge area. It was a very interesting relation with the Roman Empire before being occupied, and after. They stayed just for 100 years, not more. And however, we have a Latin language, the Latinity is there, Roman language, so, and we are surrounded by Slavic and the Hungarians that I have, it's another branch of Hungarian Fenican languages. But we are the unique country having a Latin language. So it is something that shows a lot of resilience. For this reason, we are very similar to Kenyans, because we had the territory occupied by different empires or been vassals, like we were for the Turkish. We were not really part of the Turkish Empire, but we are vassals. We are obliged to pay a tribute, yearly tribute. So we paid with gold, with cereals, with honey, and for 2 centuries even we sent people, young girls and boys. So this is very sad and very similar. It's for this reason maybe we are very sensitive to everything which is colony or because we had to fight for our independence.
Yeah. And that kind of pain that a nation goes through as it grows, how does that influence how you relate with other nations now? Nations as young as Kenya, because now you have a very rich history that dates back centuries.
We have more than centuries, but well, this is something that it's related more to the modern society, because what we think now related to Kenya is through our historical experience, to the ongoing things that happens in crisis that happens in the world. So it's not just, it's shaped by many things, but for sure we have a common background. And also Christianity is common.
How big is Christianity in Romania?
Well, it's quite majority, 98%.
98%?
Yes, because we have most of, more like 90 or more than 90% Orthodox, which is Greek Orthodox, not Russian Orthodox. It's very important. And we have Catholics, Protestants also. We have some Muslims and some Judaic, Mosaic religion, but majority we are Christians, and this is part, Orthodoxy is part of our identity.
And we'll continue going back to the kind of history that Romania has, which is a very rich history. But when we come back after the break, we'll be talking more about the relationship between Kenya and Romania. The blouses are special.
Yes, they have similar patterns like this one that you see, and you can find and say, that looks Maasai.
All right, welcome back. We're still here having the sit down with Gentiana Serbu, Romanian ambassador to Kenya. And now we want to focus on the relationship between Kenya and Romania. But before that, there's this important umbrella that you talked about, the European Union that Romania joined in 2007, and how that affects or influences the kind of diplomacy that Romania does want to have with Kenya. How much of an influence is the EU in a kind of even bilateral relations you have with Kenya?
Well, it's, as you said, it's an umbrella. So we have the freedom under the umbrella. But of course we follow the main lines, and the main lines are on the good path. So we have this already entered into force economic partnership agreement between EU and Kenya, and for sure it will help a lot for our bilateral relations in trade, in investment and other fields. But also it is an increased interest from Romania to Kenya on 1st of November 2023, before the visit of the former president to Kenya, it was adopted the national strategy of Romania towards Africa, which has 3 pillars: security, development, and education. So we work on this. It's not just a piece of paper. We have already started to work very seriously on this. On security, we concentrated on cybersecurity and on IT cooperation in general, but cybersecurity is a main pillar, which is extremely important. We also work on, we have started to work on disinformation, preventing and combating disinformation. Unfortunately, we had a very bad experience during the last elections. So we can share what had happened to us and how to work and to prevent such a problem. We have also the beginning of the discussions, early discussions on how to work on preventing and management of disasters. And we had provided training on this several years in a row, including to Kenya. This was not just for Kenya, it was to some African countries, including Kenya. Also, we work on phytosanitary and veterinary standards, which is extremely important for the implementation of the economic partnership agreement with EU, because in order to export to EU, including Romania, you need to follow and to respect the standards. So this is so important. It's core for our implementation of this agreement. What is a big focus for us is on education. We signed a lot of memorandum of understanding between our universities and the university in Kenya in the last 2 years, especially last year and this year. So a lot of mobility, Erasmus, between the universities. We have an important pillar are the scholarships. So this year 51 students will benefit from Romanian scholarships.
51 Kenyan students?
Kenyans, yeah.
As exchange students or
No,
full scholarship?
This is full scholarship, yeah. So once they go there, they receive the permit, the residence permit, even they have the right to work, which is good because the scholarship is not so big, the fee, but the tuition, but it can be complete. So there are different levels of beneficiaries, let's say. It's a bachelor, it is the master and PhD. We have also PhD. We have already had some scholarships granted to Kenya, but this year was an increase, very, let's say, obvious from, and it's also supporting the security part because most of the students are going to IT, some even in cybersecurity, even in more niche fields like cybersecurity and maritime. So yeah, it is a dynamic, a very positive dynamic, and I'm very happy to contribute to this.
There's the issue of art that you mentioned earlier, and Romania enjoys a lot of history and folklore, and documenting your history through filmmaking and through books and other small, probably audiovisual productions. And this is seen as an opportunity for Kenyan youth as well. Have you had an interest in probably that venture in as far as the influence you have towards Kenya?
Well, I think one of the biggest and most important events that we had in Kenya from cultural point of view was Masks of the World, this event for 1 week, We had museums from Romania. We had students from the University Transylvania, from music faculty, and they came here. And we had 1 week the museum exhibition in the National Museum. And we invited other countries to participate. This was the second time that I organized same exhibition in Cuba, inviting countries having this tradition of masks. And it was a success, so I said, why not to do it here? So we made it, and we had a huge contribution from African Heritage House, which was fantastic. We had countries like Thailand and other countries from Latin America, Central America, that they have this tradition. It's Peru, Mexico, Costa Rica. So it was a success. I think it was very good.
Is that one thing that you see continuing going forward, and you sustaining the same in the coming years?
I would like to continue this. We think about next year. You see here, we have the eggs painted for Easter. This is a very old tradition. They are handmade, of course, and you can see it's the painting. Yeah, and some of the models, if you look, they are very similar to Maasai.
Oh yes.
You see? And you can find these different models, different patterns, also in the blouses in Romania. We have a very rich tradition in these blouses, folk blouses, that even we have a national day in the International Day of the Romanian blouse, which is part of UNESCO patrimony.
The blouses are special.
Yes, they have similar patterns like this one that you see, and you can find and say, that looks Maasai. You see the mind of people in making an abstract model, an abstract pattern. It's similar. I saw this in Mexico also. I was looking to the carpets and said, why are Romanians exporting carpets to Mexico in a market, you know, this kind of traditional market? And they said, no, these are Mexicans. I said, no, this is so similar. And I showed that they couldn't believe how similar they were. So yeah, it's a beautiful world, and that shows how similar we are.
Yes. So if you were to point to a Kenyan who is hoping to travel to Romania for some tourism experience, where would you advise them to go?
Well, there are many places. First of all, we have very rich architecture and very different. So if you go to the northern, in the eastern part, but the northern part, which is called Moldova, as a region, you have Bukovina, where you can find churches and monasteries which are painted on outside painting. So there are many places, wonderful. The nature is beautiful. It's from seaside, Danube Delta, which is a place to go. Yes, it is one of the places to check on the list. And also we have the beautiful mountains in summer and in winter time. It's same. And we have Transylvania, which has the castles and the heritage from the time when Transylvania was part of the Hungarian and after Austrian-Hungarian Empire. So we have different influences, different contributions to the Romanian culture. And yeah, there are a lot of places to go. I can continue all day to tell you how many places.
It's interesting that you talked about nature in Romania, and you also talked about nature here with your visit to Karura Forest. But away from Karura Forest, if you were to direct any Romanian traveling to Kenya as a tourist on a place to go, where else would you tell them to go?
Well, it depends on the taste, because my daughter loves the seaside. So Mombasa, we were to Watamu, we stayed there, we had a holiday. But if you are a mountain lover, it's Mount Kenya.
As we come to the end of the interview, in Kenya we say Hakuna Matata. It's one of those things we say here. And coming from Romania, which has such a rich history that dates back thousands of years, there must be something that is uniquely Romanian that you can leave us with, probably a phrase or a statement that you make, probably to rally or marshal people towards a certain goal. What would that be?
Well, it's a very difficult question, because Romania changed a lot. As you said, with European Union accession, we had a lot of movement of population migration, even sometimes painful one. But this is freedom. So the most important for Romanians is freedom.
You talked about freedom, and if we may just stick with that, if you were to phrase it in, say, Latin, that's the main language you use in Romania, how would you say it?
Libertate.
Libertate. Libertate. Thank you so much, Madam Ambassador. Thank you for that. And yes, we've been having this sit down with Gentiana Serbu, the Romanian ambassador to Kenya. Thank you so much once again.
You are more than welcome. Thank you for your patience and very, very good discussion.
All right. Asante sana.
Thank you.
From existing areas of cooperation in matters education, development and security to possible partnerships in the arts as well as emergency response, definitely Romania and Kenya are bridging borders. My name is Fred Indimuli.